1.
Hello everyone, Eric Stanbery here, pro staff member at Carolina Outdoors. Today we've got Jim Webb, our newest member to Carolina Outdoors, with us. We're taking a little break right now and going to ask him a few questions. And one of them was, what made you decide to become a professional bass fisherman?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank both of y'all, Jim and Eric, for the opportunity, the pro staff opportunity with Carolina Magazine, the Carolina Outdoors Magazine and TV. I'm super excited. And to answer your question, Eric, I grew up playing sports, very competitive. You know, getting a little bit older, those that's gone from me. Don't play any ball anymore. Just gotten too old. But I grew up hunting and fishing, and obviously living on Lake Norman. It was just a natural fit. And to answer your actual direct question, I just started this year. When we met the BFL tournament earlier this year in February at Pinnacle on Lake Norman, that was my very first tournament as a co-angler. And so haven't been doing it long, but I love it. And I look forward to working with y'all and bringing what I do and what I know. I'm learning every day, but bringing it to the viewers.
Well, that's pretty good, because I remember that day. Both of us was standing in front of the weigh scale, and I think I asked you if this is your first tournament, whatever. So, you know, it was pretty cool. It's amazing what it takes to meet new friends, and you know, just a simple question is, you know, is this your first tournament? And you know, here we are today or whatever, both of us fishing. Next question I'd like to ask you is, out of all the lakes you fished, what would probably be your best one that you fished?
Well, as far as lakes go, like I said earlier, I grew up, well, I didn't tell you, South Georgia, grew up fishing ponds. So really and truly Lake Norman, about 2 years ago I started fishing Norman, and I fished with the BFL, Carr Lake, Lake Wiley. Just recently made the regional this year and went to Lake Hartwell, High Rock Lake, but Lake Norman certainly, as of right now, is my favorite lake. If you think about it, the size of Norman, 27,000 acres, I believe it is. You got everything here. I mean, you got up the river if you want to go fishing up the river. You've got the lake area, the deep water by the dam, real clear. You can do a little bit of everything here. So I've actually sectioned off the lake, and there's sections I haven't been to yet because, you know, it's so big. Right. It's so big. So but to answer your question, Lake Norman by far, so far, has been my favorite. I guess a better question would be, what's your second favorite? And I'd probably say Lake Wiley was fun. It's a lot like Norman, but I had a good tournament on Lake Wiley, BFL tournament. Had a good tournament this weekend at Hartwell also. So, but Lake Norman by far as of right now. Ask me the same question next year. It might be something different.
Another question, Jim. For some of our younger viewers, what kind of pointers for them starting out in tournament fishing, or just, you know, just everyday fishing, what kind of pointers could you give them as far as tips, techniques, presentation, you know, different kind of baits, different types of gear?
Well, if somebody's interested in getting into, you know, they fished for a while and they're interested in fishing, they love fishing and interested in getting into tournaments, I would certainly, if they've got a local lake close to them, get into a bass club would be the first thing I'd do. Most of them have it to where it's just like a big tournament. You'll have a boater and you'll have a non-boater or a co-angler, and I highly recommend that. Fish it as a co-angler. You don't have to have an $80,000 rig and go out there and you know, and run 70 miles an hour to every fishing hole to be successful. Because just like me, I'm 45 years old. I'm learning every day. I've learned today with YouTube. So as a co-angler, you get to sit back. It's not about you winning. It's not necessarily about you catching a lot of fish. It's about you watching and learning. And if your boater is if he welcomes questions from you, talk to him a little bit. But more than anything, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You listen twice as much as you talk as a co-angler. There's plenty of online content. As a 45-year-old, I'm all the time. I'm online. I'm on YouTube. I'm watching. I'm online with bassresource.com. I'm just looking at different techniques and things, different water temperature. In other words, I'd match up water clarity of Norman. What's the temperature? What's the conditions? we're in the fall, and I'll put that in the search and I'll see what do other people do in other lakes, and then I'll go out and experiment. But the biggest thing of all, if they're interested in getting into tournament fishing, like I did this year, BFL, started fishing as a co-angler. Was fortunate enough to get the boat, which I'm doing some work on, but I fish local tournaments, night tournaments, as a boater, you know, and I've got a partner that goes with me, and we have a blast. And it's completely different sitting in this seat and running the boat than sitting in that seat and sitting in the back fishing. That's for learning, you know, unless you're fishing a team tournament. So to answer that question, if they're interested in tournament fishing, they've been fishing a little bit, just fish as a co-angler somewhere. Sit back and listen, learn, watch, listen, learn, and have fun. And every cast, these tournaments are long. When you start off at first light or safe light, every cast that you start making from then until it's 3 o'clock or it's time to go in, have the confidence to know, don't give up. Know that every cast, I have been several tournaments to where we had 30 minutes left before weigh-in, and we had not caught a fish yet, or at least a weighable fish. And all of a sudden, 5, we'll catch our limit. Don't ever give up. Every cast, believe that you're going to catch a fish, and that's probably the biggest advice I can give to a young or an older angler coming up, especially these tournaments. Don't give up. They're very exciting. I love them, but they'll wear you out. They'll wear you out, and you've got to be mentally strong when you go in.
My next question is for you. I see you're wearing a proud parent of a Marine and a shirt. So evidently you must have had a child in the Marines or has got one in the Marines. So tell me a little bit about your family.
Eric, thanks for asking about family and Marines. That's been a big part of my summer this year. Back up a little bit, I grew up in South Georgia. I've got 3 just absolutely wonderful kids. A son, Jay, he's 18. He is the Marine. 2 girls, Regan and Kieran. Regan is, 14, and Kieran's 13. Please forgive me, girls, if I got your years messed up a little bit there, but they're something else. But Jay is the Marine. He just graduated Paris Island this past, thank you, this past September, actually. And we knew he was going to go into the military. We just didn't know exactly what branch of service or whatever. And about a year and a half ago, he said, "Daddy, I've changed my mind." He went from Air Force to Navy. He said, "Dad, I'm going to become a Marine." I said, "You sure?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And I said, "Get it, boy." And I'm very proud of him. He's at just graduated Camp Geiger for MCT, military combat training. And he's at Camp Johnson right now for his MOS, which is military occupational school or studies. I don't know exactly the acronym for that. And after that, he'll get his wherever his he'll go to the fleet. We don't know where he'll be. He wants to go to Okinawa for some reason, but so be it. He's a Marine now. He can do what he wants to.
Right.
Regan, my middle daughter, she's the brains of the family. I'm not kidding. She's something else. Looks just like me, poor girl. I hope she grows out of it. And Kieran is the athlete of the family. I grew up, played a couple years of college baseball and, you know, high school football and all kind of sports. And Jay, my son, didn't take that track. He was introduced to it and he just didn't want to do it. Regan never really, she was introduced to it and never really liked it either. But Kieran's something else. She's a softball player. Awesome. She's really good. And she's the hunter too that goes with Jay would hunt with me and Regan would hunt with me, but Kieran, whenever I go turkey hunting or you know, she hadn't been duck hunting with me yet, but she's right there shaking me, waking me up.
Right there at your side.
That's why I'm so interested also, and I see what the outdoors did for them, and just kind of, I introduced them to it because that's how I grew up. And I know that, you know, we're fishing. I've only caught 1 fish today, but you know what? I've had a blast because look around you. I mean, you can't beat it.
Right. And
just catching the fish is just bonus. But I've got I'm a lucky dad. Lucky dad.
There you go, guys. I want y'all to welcome Jim Webb to the pro staff. Going to be seeing a lot more of him in the upcoming shows here in the fall and all that. So want y'all to stay tuned, and we're going to see if we can't possibly put a few more fish in the boat this afternoon before we call it quits. And appreciate y'all standing by, joining us today, and hope everybody has had a good weekend, and God bless.